In 1792, famous missionary William Carey gathered a group of friends around a table in Nottinghamshire, and he called on them to join him in partnership as he went to be a missionary to India. And in that moment around that table, he uses a phrase that we found really helpful. He said, "I will go down to India if you hold the rope." And as Mosaic, we've been learning what it is to hold the rope for those we send overseas, to encourage, to pray, to raise support and be generous, to also to perhaps go down the rope to be with them for a period of time, or bring them back up so that they're back in the UK for a period of time. We sent a young single lady to a team in the Middle East, and we've learnt that it's really lonely to go as a single person. We've learnt that where you're out of sight, often you're out of mind. And so the imagery of holding the rope has been really helpful in supporting that single lady. Being able to cheer on and encourage, to go and visit and bring her back, to continue to have many hands on the rope. Because as a sending church, we want to send really well. And it means it's not just the role of the pastor to put their hand to the rope, but the role of many in the church as you create a sending culture and as you support people in the nations. Well, as we consider how to hold the rope well, one of the things we've been learning is the role of home support teams. So people in the sending country, in the sending church, a team of people are bringing support to the person at the other end of the rope. And we've learned that these home support teams are created best in the preparation phases. We sent a family to Africa, and in doing so we probably had too short a runway, and we didn't establish a very good home support team. And so we created those teams, or that team, afterwards, after their sending. But it was so much harder to establish it, given how far that Africa is away from the UK. Building later isn't as good, but building before, building during the preparation phase has been actually a great mark of success for us. The support is best done in a team who communicate with one another and as a link with the sending pastor. It may be that you as a sending pastor, you're not involved heavily in every team, but that you're able to build teams to support those that you send. The commission sphere have got a really excellent resource for people getting ready to go. And there's an image of it that will flash up now. And this resource is able both to purchase as a hard copy, but also it's available in PDF form, and that it's used to actually take people through step by step the preparation phase. It's lots of content and lots of questions to answer and work through. And we found it really helpful to link people up who are going to the nations with someone who's already lived overseas, not necessarily in the same nation, but someone who can help them understand and walk through the cross-cultural living and how different it is to living in the UK. It's also best when it's friends of the person going who are trained for the role. It's much harder to build after takeoff, build that friendship after takeoff. It's much harder also to remember people when there's not a deep bond of friendship. Now, it's not essential, but we've certainly found that where the closest friends are an element of the home support team and they're given training and vision, then those connections stay strong and the rope is held really well. We've been thinking as Mosaic for a number of years, what staff time should we give to this? Especially initially, we wanted to give it staff time as part of sending people really well. And over time, as the more people we've sent, the more other people we've needed. And there are three really simple images to help I'm using to think through how I'm doing this. Head, heart and hands. Head is do I know, do the people who we're sending, do we know what is required? Have we done the right reading? Have we kind of understood the strategies that we could use, the research that's going on? And there's a whole bunch of great books that have been read about numbers of these phases of creating cultures, of sending well, of returning, which I'll speak about in a minute. Secondly, is your heart moved for them, for their cause and the people they're going to? You see, for me, having my heart move for a situation means that I'm able to pray for it more readily. I'm more keen to, and where, you know, in the absence of military discipline, I do fall down. But where my heart's moved for people and the place they're going to, my heart's moved quicker for them and the situation. And that's a great thing to be able to replicate with people. And moments of prayer I found so crucial in praying with others as well as praying on my own to allow God to move my heart. So head, heart and hands. Who are you delegating to? Who are you doing this with? And I say this because some of us are moved to delegate and give away too quickly, whilst others need to train up and release others to a greater extent. Well, the final section I want to mention as I conclude this second part of the video is that of people returning. You see, the return is from a place where you've been sent back to the UK is sometimes considered like a re-entry of a space capsule. Coming through the Earth's atmosphere is a painful process. There's heat involved. There's a concern of the landing and how it's going to be. And that maybe it feels a bit over the top. However, it does really need dealing with carefully, with consideration and with intentionality. When I was at school, one of the athletics events I used to love doing was the long jump. You'd hurtle along the runway and take off and launch into the sand. And one of the things we've realised is where re-entry happens best, it happens where there's a long run-up, where people can think about the process of coming back to the UK, that they can prepare for it, that they can read, they can pray, they can process, they can line things up, they can consider it with different people. And if you're able to help people return, if you've got that timeline, it is really worth helping people from a long way out. But that doesn't always happen. That's not always possible. People can sometimes come home really quickly, not of their own choice, from the places that they've been. And where we haven't got a great experience of this, but we have found that sometimes the shock and the trauma of returning does need some real care and support. It needs time. It needs perhaps some counselling. Can be really helpful for some. And as people return to the UK, that there are others who are doing the same thing, others within our family of churches who we're able to link them up with. So try and network and try and find others who are coming back, not necessarily from the same place, but at the same time. And there are other organisations who are able to support families, support people who have come home as singles. And these moments of connection, these moments with other organisations wider than New Frontiers are really helpful. Global Connections are such an organisation that do a great job helping families process a return to the UK. So as I come into land with this pair of videos, this one on the support and re-entry of people back to the UK, but as a pair of videos, I really hope that it's been helpful for you thinking through creating a sending culture, preparing people and recruiting to go to the nations, as well as once they're in country, supporting them through visits, through time with them, Zoom and our online kind of methods are so helpful in creating connections and retaining connections with people who are sent. And there will be a slide at the end with a Mosaic Church email address that you can contact me on. It'd be great to hear from you if you've got any further questions, or you just want someone to talk it through what you're doing. Well, God bless, and for the sake of the nations, I'm so glad that we're able to do this together.